You're not born pink. You come out gray, boring, regular. Like, did anyone even notice me? And the water? It's not turquoise, it's not even blue. It's brown, thick, and muddy. So yeah, welcome to the life. And the first thing you have to learn isn't hunting, it isn't fighting, it is not drowning. Because here's the problem. You're a mammal. You breathe air, but you were just born underwater. So your very first task on planet Earth is simple. Get to the surface before you suffocate. Except you can't really do that on your own yet. So your mom has to nudge you upward, pushing you toward the surface so you can grab that first tiny breath. And for a while, that's basically your whole personality. You're just a confused baby floating in the water with absolutely no plan. Meanwhile, your mom is right there underwater, watching you closely, because she invested years into you. Pink dolphins don't just pump out babies like some fish that lays 1,000,000 eggs and swims away. No, you are her one precious little thing. And once you finally grab that tiny breath, the next problem shows up immediately. You go back underwater hungry, but drinking milk underwater is not exactly simple. To nurse properly, you have to curl your tongue like a straw, because if you don't, your first meal is basically going to be muddy river water. Luckily, you have a seriously powerful dolphin brain, so after a little confusion, you figure it out pretty quickly. Now this is your nursery. Although calling it a nursery is kind of generous. It is basically a flooded forest. Every year when the river rises, it spills out into the jungle and turns the whole place into one giant underwater playground. And this is where your mom brings you. Not because it looks nice, but because it is safer. Out in the open river, there is way more space to get lost and way more things that might want to bother a small baby dolphin. In here, there are roots, branches, and plenty of places to hide. For the first few days, you stick right next to your mom, and I mean right next to her. She swims, you follow. She goes up for air, you go up for air. She turns, you do your best to turn too. You're still getting used to this whole dolphin thing. Sometimes you drift the wrong way. Sometimes you wobble around for no reason. At this point, your daily routine is pretty simple. Eat, breathe, try not to get lost. That's about it. Then, like every baby ever, you start getting a little too confident. You wander away from your mom just a little. But in this muddy water, even a little feels like a lot. You can't really see what's ahead of you, so you start exploring the only way you can. You poke around with your snout, root, branch, mud, leaf, hopefully not a tree. You also have these tiny whisker-like hairs on your snout. They're not much to look at, but they're surprisingly useful. They help you feel what's nearby when your eyes aren't doing a great job. So while other baby animals are looking around at the world, you're basically feeling your way through it. That's how you learn the river, just slowly figuring things out, one bump at a time. And the whole time, your mom is still nearby, keeping an eye on you. Because you think you've got everything under control, but you definitely do not. Slowly though, you do get better. You stop bumping into every single thing like the river personally hates you. You start learning where your body is. Your tail pushes you forward, your flippers help you turn, your snout checks what is in front of you, and your mom keeps taking you deeper into the flooded forest. Now this place is not just open water, it is tight, like really tight. There are tree trunks in front of you, roots under you, branches above you, vines hanging down like someone left ropes everywhere, and fish are hiding inside all of it. You try to follow one small fish and it slips between two roots. You try to turn after it, and this is where you realize your body is actually kind of weird in a useful way. Ocean dolphins are built like fast little torpedoes. They go forward fast, very cool. But you are not built for clean open water. You are built for this mess. Your neck can bend more than theirs, so when a fish cuts sideways, your head can actually turn after it. Your big flippers help you twist around. Your back fin is not tall and sharp like some ocean dolphin. It is lower, smoother, and less likely to get caught on every branch like an idiot. So you are not the fastest dolphin in the world. You are more like a dolphin with really good steering, which is perfect because your whole childhood is basically learning how to not crash into a tree that is underwater for some reason. At first, you are terrible at it. A fish darts left, you turn too late, and it disappears. Another fish hides under a root. You poke your snout in, mud comes up, fish gone. Great hunt, amazing work. Your mom probably watches this like, okay, we have a long way to go. But then something starts clicking, literally. You begin making tiny clicking sounds. The sound shoots out into the brown water, hits things, and comes back. At first, it probably means nothing to you. Just noise, like the river is talking, but you don't speak river yet. But slowly, your brain starts putting it together. That echo came back fast, so something is close. That echo came from the side, so maybe there is a branch fish there. That small, quick echo moved. That might be food. Now your big round forehead starts doing its job. That forehead is not just there to make you look like a strange river baby. It helps aim those clicks. And when the sound comes back, your jaw helps catch some of it too. So yeah, you are basically clicking with your face and listening with your mouth area. But here's the problem. This is not an empty swimming pool. This is a flooded forest. So when you click, the sound does not come back nice and clean. It hits the fish, but it also hits the branch behind the fish, and the root beside the branch, and the mud under the root, and the tree trunk next to that. So your brain gets all these echoes at once, like the river just threw a whole box of sounds at your face. So you can't just blast loud clicks everywhere like you are in the open ocean. That would make the whole place even more confusing. You keep it close. Short little checks. One click, move. One click, turn. One click, don't hit the tree. The river is not just brown water anymore. It is a map, a very messy map. A map made of sound, touch, mud, roots, and panic. And every day you get a little less useless at reading it. The river changes again. As the water drops, the flooded forest starts shrinking. The wide open spaces get smaller and fish get pushed into tighter areas. For you, that means food is easier to find. The downside? Everything else is closer too. Other dolphins, big fish, boats, and people. By now, you're old enough that you need to start catching your own food, so you follow your mom and copy what she does. She searches near the muddy bottom. You do the same. One day, you finally find a fish hiding in the mud. You rush in, make a mess of everything, and somehow catch it anyway. After that, you start improving. You learn fish hide under roots, between branches, and in the mud. Instead of chasing them directly, you learn to predict where they're going. Soon, you're catching all kinds of fish, including piranhas. And fish aren't the only thing you eat. You also learn to catch crabs and sometimes even small turtles. Your front teeth grab prey, while the teeth farther back can crush tougher food. As the years pass, you keep growing. At first, you're gray, but as you get older, you start developing pink patches. For males, that pink color often comes from scars. They fight other males, scrape against branches, heal, and over time, those marks turn pink. So a lot of that famous pink color is basically a record of everything you've survived. As you get bigger, you also get more competitive. Another male gets too close, and suddenly they're circling, biting, and ramming. Nobody really gains much, but everyone ends up with a few more scars. Then comes mating season. Males start showing off to females, and pink dolphins have a surprisingly weird way of doing it. They pick up sticks, grass, or chunks of clay and carry them around in their mouths like trophies. Nobody knows exactly why, but it seems to be part of their display. Then one day, you find something that doesn't belong in the river, a fishing net. By the time you notice it, it's already too late. You turn, struggle, and the net only tightens around your flipper and tail. And now the real problem hits. You still need air. You know the surface is above you, but you can't reach it. For an air-breathing dolphin, that can quickly become fatal. You finally break free and take a desperate breath. But after that, the river feels different. Now the dangers aren't just predators or muddy water. They're nets, hooks, boats, ropes, mercury from gold mining, and dams that block the routes you've used for years. You can adapt to many things, but these are human-made problems, and they make life in the river harder every year. Then comes the dry season. At first, it feels normal. The river drops every year. The flooded forest disappears. The water pulls back, and places that were full of fish become mud and roots again. That is how the river works. But some years, the water drops too much. Channels become shallow. Lakes shrink. The whole river feels like it is running out of room. Fish get trapped in smaller pools. The water grows warmer and dirtier. You swim through places that used to be deep, and now they are barely passable. Your clicks bounce back too quickly. Mud bank, boat, another dolphin. Everything is squeezed together. Boats become a bigger problem too. When the river is low, everyone is forced into the same narrow channels. You rise to breathe and a boat is overhead. The engine rattles through the water. Sometimes even breathing feels like fighting traffic. And if the water disappears, your world disappears with it. Then comes the part that should not happen. The water gets hot. You dive deeper. Still hot. You move somewhere else. Still hot. There is no cool place left. Fish start floating. The water smells wrong. The air feels heavy and the water itself becomes dangerous. That is the frightening part. You are built for water. Your whole life depends on it. But now the thing keeping you alive is hurting you. There is nowhere to run. You cannot leave the lake. You can only keep swimming as the water gets hotter. Fish die around you. Other dolphins struggle. Some move slowly. Some stop moving altogether. For the first time, the river does not feel like home. It feels like a trap. A net can catch one dolphin. A hot lake can catch them all. So you keep swimming because that is all you can do. But this time, swimming might not be enough. You survived floods, droughts, fights, nets, boats, pollution, and now you're pink. People see something magical. They don't see the years it took to get there. To them, the color is the story, but the color is what the story left behind. Every scar, every fight, every season survived, and that's why it sucks to be a pink dolphin. Not because you're weak, because you mastered the Amazon and then humans changed it. The pink isn't magic. It's the story written across your skin.